Hey guys, so when they say cheap is expensive, it's true, obviously in the long run, because when you spend a very small amount of money on something that you want to buy, or if buy something cheaply, that is means at the lowest cost possible, you find that most of the time that product is actually not good or not meeting the standards that's expected, obviously, compared to the original and more costly product. Now, in this case, I'll be talking about the eggs, which are obviously in the market. That's the business I'm doing, production of eggs. And meanwhile, you can take a look at these. I'm inside the brooder, just prepping for around 600, 700 birds in the next few weeks. You can see this clearly. Okay, so this is the brooder right here. We put some sawdust there. It's basically ready, but we're expecting to have a bit over 700. I want to see if 700 birds can actually fit in this particular room, so that if that can fit in. At some point I thought maybe 1,000 can fit in this particular room, but I did some measurements and then find out that it's a bit smaller for 1,000. At most I'll say 800. That is at most 800 layer birds, not broilers. Broilers you can fit even 1,000 if you want, because they take a shorter period of time, maybe 6 weeks at most, and then you're done with them. But layers they take longer. Therefore, you want to make sure that they living in the environment which is very conducive and comfortable. So we're expecting that. Now back to the topic. So you've seen around in the market when you go to buy. Let me talk about eggs because that's what I know best. You see people selling eggs cheaply in the market. Now there are two reasons why that's happening. Just do this, and one of them being one of the most reasons why you are finding that your eggs, you're buying eggs cheaply, or somebody's buying or selling eggs cheaply in the market, is because of one. It's obvious that the eggs are bad. That's the obvious reason. That is the most obvious and the one to look out for. If it's cheap, you have to be very careful, because that's the most common reason you expect somebody to sell you cheaper things, cheaper stuff, mostly food products. If they are that cheap, it means either the expiry date is coming in very quickly, or they're almost to that point where they're expiring, maybe in the next 2 weeks, or like that. So you expect that if somebody is selling you, for instance, eggs at this particular time. I saw a point where somebody is selling at 300 per tray, 300 eggs per tray. Now I'll explain that in two ways. One, it's either they're getting spoiled or they're already spoiled, because I've experienced that before. I bought eggs that are spoiled before, and you won't realize until you get the eggs at home, and then you split them, break the egg, and then that's when you realize that, oh yeah, these are things bad, it's gone bad. And therefore you realize that the point here is actually to throw them away, sell them at a throwaway price, so that you make that quick profit. That is for the seller. Now, reason number two is because maybe they are small in size, mostly small in size. Now it is common, because I've done this before. I've sold small size eggs. That's usually the first week of production, when the chickens are starting to lay, and you find that maybe the eggs are not meeting the standards, because most of the chickens, when the, let's say, 18th week, if you have maybe 2-3% of the chickens laying, you'll find that mostly of those eggs will be very small in size. The average egg is supposed to be around 63 grams. 63 over 63 grams, you are good. That's an average egg in terms of egg size. So now I know most of you don't measure eggs, so don't weigh eggs to get the weight, but you just look at the size, physical size of the egg, and then you can tell this one is bigger, this one is smaller, like that. So that's the obvious way to look at the egg. Now if the person is selling you cheaply, it means those are the very first week production cycle for eggs, and it is understandable for that particular period, because it's only for maybe few days that's happening. After that, the eggs start getting bigger. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, or after maybe a few days, the eggs are start getting bigger, because the chickens, the appetite is actually going up and they're consuming more. So at that particular time, you expect the eggs, or the chickens in this case, to be consuming around 100, 120. Now when they start laying, they should be consuming around 100 grams. You see, that's the 18th week, 100 grams. That's perfect, that's normal. Now as they start to lay, 18th, 19th week, the consumption goes up because the crop has actually grown. The crop is that section which holds the food for temporarily for a few minutes before it goes to the the gizzard for digestion. So you find that for the first few days, the eggs will be small in size because the chickens are consuming, a relatively small amount of feeds, 100 grams, 90, 95 grams, 200. And then after 1 week, you expect that that range goes up all the way to 120, like that. So you find that after that, you'll see the egg size being bigger, like that. So those are the two reasons why somebody will be mandated to actually sell you the eggs at a very cheap price. Now that's temporary. It's not something continuous, not something permanent. So if you've been following the channel, you can see that on this particular area we have these, we are drying. These are this is fish meal in this case. These are fish meal. It's drying so that we don't, it's better when it's dry because when you keep it that long, bought feeds, I stocked feeds for these feeds are supposed to take 18 weeks, so I stocked like most of the feeds here, so they're supposed to be taking, covering all that period, the 4 months period. So uh, it could have been a mistake, maybe because I didn't know the time the chicks will be getting in. If you get a reliable supply of chicks in your area, you are good. You are lucky because these suppliers are not very, they're not very reliable, guys. You give this particular date and then you're told maybe the chicks will come at this particular date. It's pushed forward like that. Therefore, it's just confusing and frustrating at the same time. So I did stocking of these feeds so that I get, when you stock feeds, you buy feeds in large quantities, obviously, so that you save on the, transport costs. You don't want to be buying one bag every week like that. So you save on the cost like that. You save on a lot, and then you can negotiate for the price for a discount like that, and that's better. That's better. So you have to keep them dry like this. You have to keep them dry so that they stay for that longer period of time. Meanwhile, guys, you can hit me up in the comment section. You can email me if you have any supplier of maize in these in Kenya, particularly in Kenya. So if you have a reliable supply of maize in Kenya, I would like to know that most of the guys I've been interacting with are actually scams. So somebody promises you a very cheap price, but it's not really that cheap. They start going to other relevant things. So basically, they're scamming you like that. If you are doing poultry farming or any other business and you are supplying maize in large quantities, you can hit me up. Maybe drop your contact in the contact section right there. You can email me. I think I have an email right there. You can maybe check out the email. You can actually call. There's actually a number on my Facebook page. You can actually call that so that I get in contact with you. I'm actually looking for maize and it's becoming frustrating like that. For the purpose of clarity, now it costs right now, it costs around, because the prices of goods have gone up, it costs around 8 shillings and 25 cents to actually produce an egg. That is at the cheapest price possible. And because the prices of goods have actually gone up right now because of things like maize and soya, which is always high, that's what actually puts the price of feeds to the highest price possible. So it costs around 8 shillings and 25 cents to produce an egg. Now if you're selling an egg, you find that in the market an egg is being sold for 10 shillings, which means now in Kenya they sell, they mostly sell per tray. So per tray, if they're selling the per tray, let's say at 300 shillings, and that's like a throwaway price, that is the lowest possible you can go. And it means this person is spending what? If you're spending 8.25, that is for one chicken, that times 30, that should be 248 shillings just to produce the whole 30 eggs. And that means this person is making what, 52 shillings at most. Yeah, 52 shillings, assuming that all eggs are good, they are not they don't break like that per tray. So this person is making 52 shillings per tray. That is very low. It's very low if you compare that to the production cost. Now normally it should be 400 shillings. That is the price. That means this person is selling at maybe 13 shillings per egg, you see. So if for some other time I usually find this particular sunflower growing in this area, Uh, I've lived here for quite a number of times. This is my family land, and I've noticed that I've never seen sunflower growing here. But within the first year, I saw one sunflower growing here. You can see it's very huge like that, and it's which means it grew in an area which was maybe manure. You pour a lot of manure here in the first I think last year we poured a lot of manure in this particular small section, so you expect it's a very fertile area. That's why this sunflower is growing, producing seeds on every section of its, stem like this, as you can see. So I've never seen sunflower growing in this particular land, but when I started growing chickens or feeding them sunflower, I think that's the point we seeds came in, obviously through the disposable disposing of the seeds by the through chicken poop like that. Obviously that's the case. Now if I get seeds, or if I have a huge piece of land, maybe I can sell this. I can actually grow this sunflower, and then harvest it, and then store it. It will be cheaper that way to it will be cheaper that way if you have that serious piece of land, guys. I'm talking about 10, 20, 100 acres of land, piece of land which makes sense, where you can actually grow some serious food, and then you harvest something serious like that.